Hi, everybody. I hope everybody had a great day. Life is very funny. I um I had been mulling over in my mind what I was going to talk about. And yesterday I saw an article placed in a group that I'm in, and I saw that a gentleman had gone deer hunting in Portland and had accidentally shot himself, and it brought back a lot of unpleasant memories about my nephew. So tonight I said I was going to talk about my nephew. And then it occurred to me that I should just look back at the article because I hadn't read it in its entirety. I just knew that I looked at a gentleman, and for some odd reason, it looks to me like I knew him. And the name sounded very familiar, but I was just not making the connection. So when I went to look this evening now, I said, my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. It's this person that I knew quite well. And his son was in my department, and he would come to the department, and we would have a little conversation, and he would ask me to take care of his son and all of that. And I'm saying, oh goodness, I can't believe it. But, you know, that's how life is. So I'm trying to see whether I can make contact with the family to express my condolences, and especially to his son, who was such a little sweetheart while he was at school. So, my I talk about how I'm an only child sometimes, and people wonder when I talk about other siblings. But my father had two sons before he actually married my mother, and the union between my mother and father produced one child. That is yours truly. So my older brother died about 3 years ago. He died in 2018. So I have this other brother. So I'm going to back up a little bit to the time. I think it would have been about 2010. I had just gone to my present job, maybe about 6 months into the job, and I had gone to chapel the day, and I was on a high. I came back into the office, and I was feeling very good, and the phone rang, and I saw it was my brother calling. So I picked it up with alacrity because he doesn't really call, he doesn't really communicate a lot. So I just said out in the phone, what do I owe the pleasure of this call? And without any preamble, we now have dead. So I said, dead? What do you mean dead? Who dead? Hear him. Not the boy. So I said, what do you mean the boy? Which boy? Hear him. And he said the young man's name. And I said, how you mean him dead? Hear him. Boy, not chop off him neck. Listen to me. I will never be able to explain to you what happened to me that day. All I know is that I started screaming because it felt as though somebody had a vice grip and they were squeezing the breath out of me. Not just the breath, it was like squeezing my heart, and it was hurting so badly. It hurt so bad. The pain was excruciating, and all I could do was scream, scream, scream. And everybody kept running from where they were to find out what it was. And my girlfriend grabbed the phone and finished the conversation with him. They had to give me water to drink. They had to fan me. They rubbed my head. They rubbed my shoulders. They were cajoling and just talking, comforting me and all of that. I was screaming for a long time. I think if I hadn't screamed, I would have died. Somebody said I went into shock because my brother didn't prepare me. He just said what he had to say. And after I got over it, no, I wondered what was going on. And so I spoke with him a couple of days afterwards, and he told me that he had gone to the hospital to look at the boy because they wanted him to identify the body. And he said when he went, he was lying on a bed. And I'm thinking, on a bed? And he said, yes. And he said when he looked at him, he was so sorry that he had looked at him because he thought he was going to pass out because of the sight. Because what happened is, my nephew used to hunt deer, and he apparently was very successful at it. I don't know what it is, but he always got deer. And so he would sell the deer. Sometimes he would sell a live deer, or sometimes he would um, maybe get it butchered and sell the meat. And at that time, I hear it was like $500 per pound for the meat. So he was making good money off hunting the deer. So he had a very good friend, and from time to time, he would loan him money. So this particular time, he must have loaned him maybe a sizable amount, I don't remember. And the money, when he needed it, wasn't forthcoming. So he saw him one morning and called out to him and said, "What happened to the money?" So remember, now they're friends. So my nephew apparently had a knife for him, and he said to him, "Look how long you have my knife and you come ask me for money." Da 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 da. And an argument developed. And they argued in the road, and then my nephew turned to go about his business since they had quarreled. And when he turned his back and was walking away, the guy used a machete and severed his head. There's a little piece, I guess, holding it because he ran off, and by the time he ran off, he collapsed. And the lady saw him and picked him up and was trying to help him, and she was trying to get a vehicle, but I don't remember if he died before. But I mean to say, if his head is practically severed, it is very likely that he would have died, you know. And at the funeral, it took me quite a while to be able to go to the casket to look at him, because I just thought I couldn't manage it. But a number of persons went and they said, "He looks okay, man, you can come and look at him." And I went and I stood and I looked at him for a long time. He was my father's favorite grandchild. I said I think my father would have given his life for that little boy. He loved him so. And he loved Papa too. And they were just like peas in a pod. Everywhere Papa went, he would go with him. When he died, I think he was 26 years old. And I said to my brother, when it was time for them to go to court, I said to him, he had gone a couple of times and they kept putting off the case. And I said to him, whenever they put it off, go back. Whatever they give you, go. And if you need company to go, you must go. And if you need me to go with you, let me know. But don't let them call up the case and you're not there. And he went and he went and he went and he went and he went. And every time he went, they put it off. And every time he went, they put it off. It was called up, they put it off. And let me tell you something. One day, I think he was deeply frustrated, and one day he didn't go. And they called it up and he wasn't present. And they threw it out. Can you believe that? And I said, just look at that. You've been going for all these months into more than a year, and every time they put it off. And the very day he didn't go, they threw it out. I don't know what it was. And I was so distressed, and I said, just look at that. Justice was never served for the death of my nephew. And the perpetrator had been there just walking up and down like nothing happened, you know, and he's still out there walking up and down. But I've prayed about it, never met him, don't know him, but I'm not harboring any anger toward him. You know, I've just asked God to help me to forgive him and pray that he'll repent of what he did. And so, if when we lose our loved ones in tragic ways by the hand of other people, we can learn to forgive. We can ask God to help us to forgive the perpetrator, and he will hear and he will help you to do what he wants you to do. So I'm just saying, justice was never served, but one day justice will be served. It's even when God comes. So Don't harbor any anger, any rancor, any bitterness, any malice, any strife in your heart against anyone who has done you evil. I'm not saying that it is easy not to. I'm just saying that God can help you to do it. And one day, justice will be served. So, thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment if you will. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.